Greetings, friends. Purple hair guy here. So, we got a second floor boss in front of me. This is the armored transport. Now, I have to have it paused because it moves while doing this, and I wanted to start this explanation before. Also, I'm going to close chat because sometimes chat goes off and they say things. So, got the armored transport in front of me. I'm going to be doing an explanation on at least two of the second floor bosses here. Maybe all of them. If I can find them. I can never get the conveyor belt to spawn, and I don't want to be playing this game for like 14 hours looking for it. So, armored transport. It's not necessarily a boss fight. It's more of an optional boss fight. Now, you don't even have... You could sit right here. If I unpause the game, I could sit here the whole time and complete the boss fight. You wouldn't get any loot, but you would still... Like, it just happens. Like, the fight just ends. So, what happens normally is there's waves of enemies on the stage already. I don't even need to attack it here. There's these, the drone turrets. Also, I have the pressurized impaler for whatever reason. I actually do like it as a gun. It's not that great. And it'll spawn room clearing units. If you go further onto the room, there is these. And then there's a laser minigun behind it. So, what the armored transport does is, it just spawns room clearing units. That's pretty much it. Now, I don't have great DPS, so I don't know how far I'm going to get this. But it will spawn groups of 3 enemies. That is up to, I think, 7 in multiplayer. And they're just pretty garbage enemies. They usually die super quick. Let's just keep shooting. Now, the armored transport itself doesn't have any attacks. It just spawns units. And every time it spawns a unit, it'll drop loot. Now, these I gotta be careful with, because they will kill you. But, gotta kill them first. Oh, I whiffed that big time. You could sometimes leverage the enemy's attacks to shoot the armored transport, but that doesn't happen all that often. Or at least I haven't experienced it happening. So, that's the final turret stage, I guess you could say, is the laser turret. It still spawns these room clearing units, and I didn't do too well on killing it. It is killable. It is very killable, actually. You just need to have a good build, which I do not here. But for the purposes of it, once again, it just spawns units. It spawns room clearing units momentarily, which are those guys on treads. It spawns mercenaries every, like, 10% health, 20% health maybe, in either 3 or 6 or 7 if you're in multiplayer. And there's just these 3 obstacles. First is stationary drone turrets, then our minigun turrets, and then laser minigun turrets. And that's it. That's all this boss fight is. You literally could sit in the back of it, and all you would have to kill is the minigun turrets and some of the room clearing units it spawns. And that's it. If you do get it to, I think it's 50% health, it will drop chests on the end. And if you kill it, it'll drop a bunch of goodies. Every time you get it 20% down, or whatever percentage, I can't remember the percent right now, it will spawn a group of loot, which usually just involves credits. Once it gets to lower percents, it'll drop weapon cases, item cases, random cases. And then if you kill it fully, you'll get a boss chest that spawns right here. This boss fight is pretty easy, once again. So, hope you get this one if you're doing runs. But, on the other side of it, sometimes your teammate will die in it, and then you miss so much loot. Now, that sucks when that happens, but it's just the way the game rolls, right? Well, anyways, I'll see you on the next boss fight. Hopefully, I get the conveyor belt. There's 2 more bosses on this. There's 3 whole bosses on the second floor, which is 1 more than the last floor. Well, I'll see you guys there. Hey, welcome back. So, here we are on the conveyor belt boss fight. Now, this boss fight is very, very hard comparatively. The reason this boss fight is so hard is because it's not exactly a boss fight. It's just a lot of enemies, not a lot of drops, and there's something that can instantly kill you in it. And that's pretty much the reason you're going to die. So, just before we start, if you're playing Riot Guard, Sniper, Engineer, maybe Demolitionist, just generally classes that aren't known for their speed, this boss fight is going to be significantly more difficult. You're going to want to play a little safer, but if you're playing things like Breacher, Raider, Heavy Gunner is actually very hard on this one too. This is actually probably Heavy Gunner's worst boss fight because it's if you activate your gadget, you die, essentially. And that's not good. Dying isn't good. But here we go. I'm just going to show you what happens in it. So there's only I guess there's a few more than 2, but there's only 2 enemy types that are going to spawn on this fight. And the gimmick of this fight is you're on a conveyor belt. So the only thing you're going to see is these drones and turrets. And if you stop moving, then the conveyor belt moves without you. And if you touch the red on either side of the screen, you instantly die. It'll stop you from moving and you will instantly die. So the conveyor belt's going to switch directions every once in a while. Oh boy. And pretty much you're just going to be body blocked the entire fight. And the turrets aren't going to move because it's a weird boss fight. Well, I guess technically the turrets are moving and you're not. It's just weird, okay? It's a little disorienting sometimes. Oh, crap. And the enemies are just turrets. I don't know if Gatling turrets spawn on here. I'm assuming they do. I cannot quite remember. But it'll just go back and forth, spawning drones and turrets. Okay, see, it's sped up there, like, big time. Which could have been super deadly for me if I wasn't so skilled at this game. Just kidding, by the way. I mean, I'd say I'm decent at this game, at least. But it's still just enemies spawning. That's it. It's just a bunch of enemies. And there's places like that. Like, I almost got reversed into the end of the map there, which would have instantly killed me, by the way. Okay. So, I'm not even on... I'm at 120% right now, and this is still a difficult boss fight, I would have to say. Because if you get caught behind something, or you're moving too slow, you're going to get instantly killed. I don't want to show you death here, but you can trust me that if you go into the red on either side, you instantly die. That is just a fact of this boss fight. It also moves you. Like, see, I'm not moving, but the stage is ending. All right, now this is the end of it. It's just this missile array, and then it drops everything. Now, enemies will stay alive forever. Mostly the drones. They will group up on the screen, and you'll eventually be able to explode them all at once. But doing that is hard because that means they can't kill you before then. Now, once it's over, you just sit here, wait, and the teleporter will instantly move you out. It says teleporter charging up top, and you'll just get put into the next stage, just like that. That's it. Now, there's one more boss fight on the second stage, and I have to go find it. So, when I get there, I'll see you there too. Okay, welcome back again. So, we've got our third boss fight here. This is the only one that I would consider an actual boss fight on stage 2. Now, I remembered the name. I forgot it last time, but it's the Raptor. Raptor Mark 2? Raptor Mark 4? I don't know. We'll see in a second. But this is the only real boss fight. Real boss fight meaning it's an enemy that you have to kill to survive. Remember, the Conveyor Belt is just survive. The destroy the armored transport is just... you literally don't even have to play to beat it. So, here we are with the only stage 2 boss fight. This is probably the one you've been looking forward to most, because it's an interesting boss fight. So, when we start it, it's going to start talking to us. Come on. There you go. Raptor Type E. There's not even a number in there. How did I get that mixed up? Okay. You know, he's talking. So, he starts out, each of his wings has a health bar. They're very easy to kill, and they shoot at you. I suppose they're like underwing guns. And his attacks are the airstrikes, the missile launch. He goes from left to right, and this like ball circle thing. Now, none of these attacks are necessarily deadly, but the thing that's really killer about him is that you cannot catch up to him. So if you walk towards him, he'll run away. The only times you can get him are if you briefly stun him, or when you dash towards him. Like you can get up close if you dash towards him, but he will constantly move away from you and stay right on top of you at the same time. Now, when he does this attack, he's not locked on, but he will slightly move with you, as you can see. And when this attack comes out, he won't shoot. So each of the attacks are independent of each other, essentially. They have no real timing, but they do go in order. So this is like the mid stage. This happens most of the time, and then he'll be doing a missile array. See if that'll start anytime soon. Maybe you have to get him to a certain percent. There we go. So yeah, he'll do the missiles. Now these missile attacks have 2 variants. It's the one where he either sweeps across the whole screen or he follows you while shooting them. and then it'll be followed by the ball attack. So, this fight doesn't exactly get harder as it goes down, but I do believe that just nothing extra will happen. So those missiles will always fall. He'll shoot. He shoots a little faster when he's lower. Then you kill it, and it just drops loot like any other boss. Now, the Raptor, I'd say, is actually probably the easiest boss out of the three because it's just a boss fight. Now, boss fights, yes, they're difficult. Let's see what I get, by the way. Awesome. Oh my god, awesome. So, boss fights are generally hard in this game, but depending on which class you're playing, they can be easier or harder. Now, this boss fight doesn't really have a specific class that does well against it because it's just an enemy. Well, on the other ones of this stage, there's an obvious difference between classes. So something like Heavy Gunner, Demolisher are going to do much better on Destroy the Armored Payload. And then characters with move speed abilities like Raider, Breacher, Assassin, even though I don't think Assassin has any move speed things, it just doesn't get slowed down and can go invulnerable or invisible for a little bit, has a much, much easier time on the harder fights like the Conveyor Belt. Now, I hope this guide explained a bit about the fights to you and you can really understand a little more, because those fights are they're pretty awful. I'll admit they're not great. But the Raptor is a generally fun fight. It actually has mechanics. It's not just a screw you, do this exact thing or you die, like the Conveyor Belts and Destroy the Transport are. So, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification if you haven't. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Maybe Stage 3 bosses. I believe I already covered Final Boss, but I did not cover... No, I did cover the Heart of Armageddon. Alright, well, I'll see you guys. Bye!